In this video article, I want to discuss issues concerning Chinese animation industry and its development in recent years. And I'm going to discuss a couple of important points. Firstly, the audience of Chinese animation is mostly aimed at children. Secondly, workers in the industry lack advanced skills. Third, Chinese animation industry lacks innovation. Also, I'm going to discuss Chinese animation industry development course and achievement. At present, most of the animation works in China are obviously aimed at children. As mentioned in my interview,
Now, the quality of Chinese animation industry is in need of improvement, and the influence of Chinese animation is inefficient. It is difficult to open up the international market. For example, Born New Bears is aimed at kids. Adults or teenagers have not much interest in watching. Technically, the animation was fairly rough. It's not fun of adults.
animation works for children do not need high skills and investment. It's very simple, and when it's published, the children are consumers. So it's different from the United States. China has a large population, has more children, which means there are greater demand. Therefore, for investors and producers, they do not consider the quality of animation production. What they consider is produce lots of productions to meet the market demand. For adults, or for teenagers, they don't watch cartoons which are aimed at children. This is very different from the United States, like the Marvel Universe, which is more target at a wide range of age groups. South China Morning Post noted that Marvel's Riri William, a 15 years old black girl in an Iron Man costume, it's the latest character created by Marvel's publishers and part of a tend to diversify superhero actors. Disney companies are expanding their audiences by introducing more race and gender zones. In 2014, a black man became a captain of America, and Thor became a woman. Therefore, I think Chinese animation industry cannot only meet the needs of the children's market. They should break out of the comfort zone and try to challenge the wider audience. At the same time, targeting a single audience is not just happening in animation, it's also happened in the entire control industry. For example, China has produced a large number of World War II television series, and the audiences of this television series is generally over 50 years old. This phenomenon was getting better in 2018. So Sun Lin Xuan mentioned that the box office of low-age animation films in 2018 keeps going up, which makes animation creation more inclined to the young age. The top animated films in China is 2018. 2018 are almost directed at young audiences, but it has to be mentioned that the works aimed at younger audiences are not rejected by adult audiences. They often set family gathering as their creative goals and to get parents and children into theaters together, such as Bonnie Bear's The Big Shrink, Sierra Movie 6, Invincible Pony. So it's a big setup from the days when they were just trying to aim at children. For example, the Winter Guardians in the consent is considered aesthetic of the adult, without the profound obscurity of the plot. Coleman mentioned that Chinese animation art form and modern animation industry do not have a high status in society. When faced with family pressure, young people in animation care with more respect and higher income. Therefore, I think it's a problem involved from the first problem that I mentioned. The second problem is that the producers ignore the production of high cost and high technology animation, film and television, result in their lack of understanding of the latest international workflow and technology. It becomes a vicious circle, which means they are used to making simple animations for the younger age and ignore more difficult and complex CG animations. On the other hand, in terms of workers, most animators tend not to have advanced degree, and the person inside course of study often thinks to undertake half a year to training in a company or training organizations more practical than what learned in the school. Most people's point of view is not to see academic qualifications, only see the ability to work. This ability is not creativity. Speaking of the lack of innovations in Chinese animation industry, my analysis may be due to two reasons. The first reason is that it started late and it lacks experiences and insufficient knowledge of art forms. Coleman mentioned that in terms of animation industry, the British film, television, animation, and storyboard industries have developed over the decades, and Britain has produced countless stories that have spread around the world. After 1979, China was regarded as the workshop of the world, and animation industry was also included. Programs are created in the West and then sent to China for cheap production. So it doesn't do anything for creativity. Second, there's no perfect rating system. Children have access to all animation films. Creators are not allowed to involve too much violence, sex, or drugs in the story, because children don't have the ability to distinguish. So the government is also trying to prevent children or minors imitate the plot from movies. So this is one aspect that limits the development of creativity. For the overall development of Chinese animation industry in recent years, the production of Chinese animation market is huge. During China 11th 50-year plan period, television animation production increased from 80,000 minutes to 220,000 minutes. In 5 years, the number of animation film has grown from 12 to 46. The annual circulation of comic magazines has grown from 40 million to more than 100 millions. It's obvious that the low-cost production of cartoons occupies the vast majority of Chinese animation industry, while only 46 high-quality animation films are produced. On the whole, Chinese animation industry, especially 3D animation, started late, but at present, Chinese animation industry is a young industry. The government is pushing the industry hard. In recent years, more and more enterprises have realized the importance of improving their core competitiveness, such as original content, and started to get rid of the old model of winning by volume. according to the Global and China Animation Industry Report, the global animation industry achieved an output value of about $220 billion in 2016. The United States contributes the most, accounting for about 38% of the market share. Japan is about 10%, but 60% of the world's animation production comes from Japan. In the same year, the output value of Chinese animation industry reached about 130 billion yuan, accounting for about 8% of the global total, with a year-on-year growth of 15%. It's expected to exceed 230 billion yuan in 2021. Therefore, Chinese animation has a variety of problems, but on the whole, it's in the stage of development.